Welcome back to beautiful TCO Studios. It's time for the winning formula. We have a very special guest joining us this week to analyze. It's Miss Courtney Cronin from ESPN.com, covers the Vikings for said entity and ESPN. Of course, Ron Johnson, Vikings Game Day Live, and from Vikings.com, it's Wobby. Here's the first topic. Let's go to Kirk Cousins and the preseason being done. Cousins 60%, a touchdown, 0 picks, passer rating of 85. Courtney, you're the guest. How squared away is he into the regular season?
Well, there's still a lot to be desired. It's such a small sample size that you're looking at. I think week 3, he probably threw more times in the first half than he anticipated. 28 throws in those first 2 quarters, and he kept a list on the sideline. I thought that was kind of interesting. I asked John DeFilippo about that. Have you ever had a quarterback that's, jotting down notes, trying to, fine-tune some things? I think there was the throw to Diggs that was overthrown, 2 of the short passes, but he had that nice back shoulder throw to Stephon Diggs, a nice throw to Laquan Treadwell. So it's still very much a mixed bag, but I think the progress is there. All season long, we're going to be talking about how he's connecting with his receivers, how he's gelling within this offense. So this is not a new topic now, nor will it be weeks from now.
I think the 2 missed field goals and missed opportunities to end drives with touchdowns maybe took some of the shine away from what was a pretty good performance by the offense.
Yep.
I mean, they had 3 long drives. One of them was a 90-plus yard touchdown drive. The back shoulder throw to Diggs that Courtney mentioned. The long reception by Latavius, where Latavius, I would believe, was the last read on that play, and Cousins was able to stand in the pocket with plenty of time and find his last read, which was Murray for 24 yards. So I think all in all, it was a pretty good showing. Now, the first showing in Denver was awesome and sensational, so it's viewed as a step down, but I still think the third game was a good showing.
Ron, you feel good about that quarterback into the first game?
First game, yes. Second game, nobody knows what happened. Jacksonville's just that good. If you look at the third game, though, like Courtney said, if that was a whole game, he'd be 34 for 56. I think we'd be okay with that. The biggest thing I look at Kirk Cousins over the last 3 seasons, 15, 16, and 17, he's had some good passer ratings, and then last year in 17 had the worst passer rating he's had of the 4, and still threw for 4,000 yards. So honestly, I'm not that worried. He's a pro. He's going to get it together.
So into this Niners regular season opener, US Bank Stadium, what is the strength of the Minnesota Vikings offense? Is it the passing game or the 1-2 punch of Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray?
I think it's that. I think it's the 1-2 punch. I think this is a defensive-oriented football team that's going to keep scores low. And while they want the offense to be explosive, I think if it's a ball control offense that can control the clock and move the chains and really feature the dual running back of Murray and Cook, I think that's going to put the team in the best position to win games.
I'm with Wobby on that. I think that you build the offense around the run game. What did we heard all offseason long? It's that Dalvin Cook is the focal point here. I mean, having Dalvin Cook helps Kirk Cousins sell play action better. Having Dalvin Cook helps move the chains on a regular basis. I'm just kind of curious as to the first few weeks of the season because we really don't have much indication about how he's going to be utilized. Is it going to be a slow working in process where they get in maybe 5 to 7 carries the first game, then it's 10 to 12, and where does Latavius Murray fit in there? But I think as the offensive line's still kind of getting its feet under it and working out a little bit, that you're going to rely pretty heavily on the run.
Ron, being a former receiver, let me guess, you think the passing game is the identity for sure, right?
Of course.
Yeah,
84 million,
Come on.
72 million. I mean, that's where you're going to throw the ball. You put your money where your mouth is. And if you look at so far the way they've gelled together, Stephon Diggs and Kirk Cousins, it's been great. I mean, back shoulder throws, deep balls, underneath stuff. They are gelling together right now before our eyes. But the biggest takeaway is Adam Thielen, Kyle Rudolph, we haven't even talked about them in Laquan Treadwell. They're going to actually take 8 out of the box.
Yeah.
This is not going to be the old offense with Adrian Peterson where first and second down we're going to run the ball and hope to go third and short. I think DeFilippo wants to get into second and short with maybe an 8-yard to 9-yard pass to one of the receivers, and then now your playbook is wide open. You can run play action, or you can just hand the ball to Dalvin Cook and let him eat a little bit.
Well, we know, speaking of identity, the 2017 identity of the Minnesota Vikings was the best defense in the NFL. That defense allowed 15.8 points per game, 25% on third down conversions, historically good. Can this defense be even better than it was last year.
Well, it's going to be hard to do better on third downs than that, but maybe they can do it, and maybe they can be close. There has been a little bit, at least talk, and I don't know if Zim would agree, emphasis in practice or not, but a lot of talk about wanting to create more turnovers.
Yeah.
So maybe this defense can be as good and as dominant, but it might have a few different wrinkles in there, maybe a few more takeaways, but you drop off a little bit on third downs. The one thing that I think will remain a constant is last year's defense took a huge step forward in run defense, and we know Zim wanted that to happen. I think that's going to remain a point of emphasis this season is run defense.
If you look at the Ravens, you look at the Steelers, you look at the Bears, they all dominated for 3 to 4 years, even the Seahawks in their span of 3 years. So they haven't fallen off yet. I think they still have the same core guys. You add Sheldon Richardson, you add George Iloka. Everybody is going to continue to play hard, fast, and strong together. They're playing the Zim defense.
Courtney, let me ask you this. Expectations for Danielle Hunter into 2018. 7 sacks last season, but by all accounts, he held his responsibility well week in and week out. What are your expectations?
I mean, the ceiling is the roof, right? With a guy like Danielle Hunter, he's 23 years old. I think that those are double-digit sack numbers this season, and I think where Everson Griffin is in his career, almost 30 years old now, where he either plateaus or continues to, transcend is going to affect where Danielle Hunter is. And I wouldn't be surprised, though. I mean, the way that those two have been rotating off the edge, and I mean, the responsibility Hunter's had in sliding over for Griffin in the preseason is good experience for him. And, he's pretty disruptive. And I mean, it's only the beginning for him.
Since we last met, the Vikings added a couple of players from other teams into the mix. First, safety George Iloka came into the league in 2012 with Mike Zimmer with the Cincinnati Bengals. What do you guys think about the new hybrid safety linebacker?
Right away, 6'4", big body guy, can play in the box, but also has the speed and the length to go sideline to sideline. Nothing against Sendejo, but he's just a different type of guy, and he brings a different type of vibe to that defense. I think it adds another joker into an already strong hand.
And then we have offensive lineman Brett Jones, formerly with the New York Giants, plays center, plays guard.
Yeah, he's a Rick Spielman profile type of acquisition. He's young, he's 27. He's got position flexibility. He can play guard or center. When he was inserted into the Giants lineup, guys, last season, the Giants running game took off. It went up to over 100 rushing yards per game with Jones in the lineup. I think he's a grinder. I think he looks like an interior offensive lineman that the Vikings have. He looks like Pat Elflein. He looks like Nick Easton. He looks like Cornelius Edison. The short, stocky, strong, tree trunk build. So I think he's going to fit in great.
Courtney Cronin, ESPN.com. That's where you can follow her work. And for all of us here at the Vikings Entertainment Network, that's Vikings Game Plan. Thanks for watching.